Okay, thanks for joining me for part two of the Identify, Challenge, Present Solution video series. They say, and who is they, I'm not really sure, but they say that major key to success in business is to, number one, identify a big challenge, although problem is the word that's usually used, but I like challenge, and then to create an even bigger solution. So where do you look, where do you go to find a big challenge? Well, you go to a big industry. So let's take a look at the beverage industry, for example. It's very large, it's been growing for decades, and the future is very bright. On your screen, you see several big-time brands, very, very successful companies, and these are all kind of examples, shining examples of successful businesses in the beverage industry. But there are challenges that each of these companies and the whole beverage industry as a whole deals with that most people don't really think about. Start here. Huge challenge number one. We're going to identify four. Shelf life. If you have a beverage that will only last a day or two before it goes bad, it's going to be difficult to build a large, scalable business. The current solutions, pasteurization, otherwise known as hot fill. Most of us would understand boiling better. And then preservatives. Most beverages contain, they are pasteurized and they contain one or more preservatives in order to extend the shelf life. And these work to extend shelf life, but these cause problems. Pasteurization, for example, kills a great deal of the nutrition that might have been in whatever the original ingredients were. It kills living enzymes, kills flavor, and preservatives, they're just not healthy. We'll take a look at the MSDS, Materials and Safety Data Sheet, for a couple of preservatives. And if you look at things like sodium benzoate or potassium benzoate, they'll say right there on the data sheet, if swallowed, call a physician immediately. Harmful if swallowed, yet we are putting them in our foods. Now, hey, I recognize that these things are necessary in most cases because it's better to have that little bit of preservative than to have something go bad and spoil and be rotten. So what do? If there was a way to not have any of these preservatives, well, then that would be obviously a better solution than having even the tiniest amount if they are in fact things that are not really good for us. Huge challenge number two is taste. What's the solution to taste? Sugar is the main solution to make things taste good. High fructose corn syrup, sucrose, fructose, glucose, and then of course natural sugar. I used to be a believer that, oh, well, it's natural sugar, so it's different. Well, it's not different. It's pasteurized, and if it is separated from the living enzymes that came in the original fruit, for example, I'll use apple juice. When you separate the juice from the fiber and the living enzymes, you don't separate it, but you kill the enzymes through pasteurization. It's just sugar, and as I'll mention here in a minute, the body does not differentiate in different types of sugar. They all are metabolized the same way. Sugar consumption is way, way up in the last 100 years, from about 6 pounds a year to now over 150 pounds a year. I heard one report that said that sugar consumption is over 160 pounds per year for the average American. This is probably one of the reasons why 1 out of 3 children born after the year 2000 are predicted to have diabetes, I saw in one report. Most fruit juices have just as much sugar as soda and more calories in most cases. Fruit juice is more dangerous because people think it is healthier. People think that drinking apple juice or orange juice or even things like vitamin fortified waters and things like that, they think that they're healthier than soda, and so they encourage children to drink even more of it. And that's what makes it even more dangerous, because it is not healthier in virtually any case. I mentioned that the body doesn't differentiate sugar. See, sugar metabolizes in the liver. Unless you have some living enzymes there that might have occurred naturally in a fruit that can help break it down in the digestive system. But the thing is, when we drink an apple juice or a fruit juice, we're not getting those. We're not getting the living enzymes to break it down, which is why there's so many health problems associated with increased amounts of sugar. Looking at this graph, hopefully you can see this. The top 3 items are sodas. And you can see 100 calories, 97 calories. And then you look down below there and you see grape juice, pineapple juice, cranberry juice with significantly more calories than the sugary drinks on a per ounce basis. This is based on an 8-ounce serving. And then if you look at the grams of sugar, in fact, it's not that much different. In some cases, it's a little bit less, but still a dramatic amount of sugar. You need to realize that when you're looking at a label for a fruit juice or any kind of a juice or drink, and it says the amount of sugar, first of all, check how many servings that it is, because a lot of the new beverages are 20-ounce bottles, and it'll say that's 2.5 servings, because an 8 ounce is generally considered a serving. And then it'll show you how much sugar is in a serving. We'll multiply that times 2.5, and you'll find that many of these drinks have 50 and 60 grams of sugar. To put that into perspective, one little sugar packet that someone might add to a glass of iced tea or a cup of coffee contains on average about 2.8 grams of sugar. Okay, 2.8 grams. So that means for every 28 grams, that's like 10 packets of sugar. 10 packets. A 16-ounce bottle of Minute Maid orange juice that I bought down at the local convenience store, and I'm not trying to bash on Minute Maid by any means, that's happens to be the brand that I picked up. It had the equivalent of 18 packets of sugar in it, and I know that there are parents handing that to their children and encouraging them to drink it up, where we would probably, very few parents would hand 18 packets of sugar to a child and say, hey, eat this, right? So this is a big problem, obviously a big challenge, I should say. We're not even going to get into artificial sweeteners. Just take and Google aspartame, saccharin, sucralose, any of these others, and you will find all the evidence that you need that those are even worse than sugar. Many experts agree. Huge challenge number 3, bottling. Plastic bottles is a big solution right now. Of course, most of them are filled with BPA. They're made from petroleum, which is a limited resource. Probably the biggest concern is the environmental challenge, and that is that one report I read estimated that 41,000 plastic bottles are dumped every minute, not every hour or every day, 41,000 per minute. And this does not include what gets recycled. This is what gets dumped. And, of course, the environmental impact of that is outrageous, and that is a huge, huge challenge. And then other reports even offer higher estimates than that. Glass has its own set of challenges. While I typically like glass better for most things, especially because of the BPA, but they have shipping issues. They have breaking and freezing problems with shipping, freezing and crushing colder temperatures. And glass can be quite expensive as well, so there's challenges there. What's the fourth challenge of the 4? Vitamin deterioration. Most people do not recognize that when a vitamin C for example, is suspended in a liquid, it immediately starts losing its potency when it is suspended in that liquid. You know, within the first 2-3 hours is when it's going to be the most potent. One graph that I saw, statistic that I saw, showed that vitamin C in a beverage suspended in a liquid for 30 days lost 80% of its potency suspended in that liquid for 30 days. So obviously there's some huge challenges here. Click below for the next little video to talk about some of the solutions to this problem. To this challenge.